Hello, my name's Mervyn. I've been PvPing for about 7 years. I'm just going to give you a few tips on tricks on how to PvP as a mage. We start off with giving tips on how to play as a pure mage, but obviously you can use those tips and tricks on every class of mage that you use. The first thing we're going to start off with is, as you can see, I'm playing on the classic client. If you're playing on a mage, probably best to use the classic client. Main reason being, there's a difference in the casting. Has been for a few years now. I'm not sure when it's going to be fixed. Let me just demonstrate. I've got Paralyze on Y on the keyboard, so I'll cast the spell. Now I'm going to target myself, and I'm going to cast the spell again instantly after I've targeted myself. Okay, on classic client that will work pretty much 100% of the time. Let's try this on the enhanced client. Again, I've got the same macro set up. So, Paralyze. Okay, there you go. As you can see, I casted the spell twice, yet no curse has come up. It's almost as if, not quite as long a fast cast recovery, it's just somewhat bugged. So we're going to be using the classic client at the moment. Obviously there's a lot of advantages on the enhanced client. If you're playing a Dexter, you'll want to use the enhanced client mainly for the ability to run through all the forests and things, and there's other macros where you can change weapon pretty neatly and lots of other cool features that Pinker's UI uses. But for a mage, it's best to use the classic client. Okay. Okay, the basic setup for UO. As you notice, my window is actually quite large. The way I achieve this is, let's go into the settings. You want that on maximum. I think it's default as the maximum. But the reason it takes up the whole screen is because it's an old game. What you actually want is quite a low pixel resolution. So 1152 by 864. By any standards, that is low, and everything looks massive. So that's how we get a nice large area so you can see what's going on. I mean, a lot of people play with a small screen. You get more black area to put your macros and people's health bars and things like that. But I personally prefer a big area. Okay, another thing you'll notice is the position of my window. This is slightly off center. I mean, the normal default position is up there somewhere. What I've done, just dragged it down a bit. You notice you've got the UO Assist health bar at the top, and the buffs are just below it. So you want all things health related in the same area, so it's physically less distance for your eyes to move to see what buffs you're affected by. Okay, and having a nice area at the top gives you plenty of space to put your friends' health bars. Okay, you notice I've got my UO cartographer to show all my friends, or one of them. I mean, if you join a good guild, most guilds have got this mapping programs, UOAM or UOC. If you just double click it, it's always on top, so you don't have to have it in a separate window or anything like that. Okay, next thing we need is obviously UO Assist. So I'm just going to go through best settings for me personally. Okay, you'll notice that my health bar at the top is nice and clean. So how we achieve that is we'll go to the display section, get the old magnifying glass out. Use title bar for display, yes please. I don't need my name, I know what my name is. Stat bar large, because I'm blind. Do I need to know my physical resist? Probably not, it's in the corner. Weight, that's always important. You never want to be too heavy. I don't care about trammy stuff like how much gold. Reagents, it's not 1994, no one uses reagents anymore. Tithing, obviously, probably not even important even if you've got chivalry, because most people put 100k in their book anyway. The general rule I go for is less amount of things on your screen, the better. Just too much information will cloud you. Potions, I need to know. User specific there. For me, I think that's refresh potions. Some people have apples. Probably do want to be warned when overweight. Show spell with power words, that's optional. Depends whether you remember all the names of the spells. I mean, I know them, but I still prefer to have it written in English. Okay, let's go through the common options. Okay, show names of incoming people or creatures. We want this ticked because it's best to see people incoming for as quickly as possible. You can see them from further than the normal UO settings. Auto show corpse names, that's just good for PvM, generally good for PvP. Reveal hidden power words, make sure you have that unchecked, because there's a bug where if you have it checked, all the mysticism spells appear somewhere in the corner of your screen and unreadable. Okay. The other really important setting, which isn't actually available on the enhanced client, is range check last target. This is awesome. It means if you cast a spell and run off the screen, or they run off the screen is the more likely, and you try to do last target on them, you don't have to recast the spell. I mean, this is a huge advantage. Q self last target. I personally have that unticked because I like to time my spell as well. Other pros have it ticked, but this pro doesn't. Okay. You need to basically set what weapons you're currently wearing. You always want a free hand for PvP, so you can use a potion or a like. Dress. Obviously you just save what you're currently being worn so you can get dressed quickly. Or keys. Right. To set up your assist, best thing to do, select every single thing in keys and the default hotkey just delete. And then we'll go through them one by one, because you don't want to accidentally be fighting away and by default I think numlock is count resources and your trap box fires away, or you accidentally undress in the middle of a fight, so just remove everything and set your own macros. Okay. Okay, the other UO assist vital setting that you want, obviously you can record all your heal potion, drink heal, drink cure on there, and a lot of things you can't do in UO. You can automatically just set those macros in enhanced client without third-party programs. On the classic you need assist. Very important thing, first and last target is always your mouse wheel, so you can scroll about. Okay, let's go through the UO settings. Now, you don't want to disable the new targeting system, you need the new targeting system. Run mouse in a separate thread, you need that ticked, otherwise for some reason it goes really slow. Any together. Okay, colours. Here's a nice little tip. Notice criminal highlight colour. These are all the default settings apart from someone that can be attacked colour, spelt the Americanism. You want that by default. That's also grey, but you want to change that to whatever colour you want. Reason being, then you know if someone's only criminal to you or if they're criminal to everyone. Okay. Now, with regards to your macros, you really want them all in the same area, preferably on your letter keys because there's more of them. It's quite difficult to record macros on the number pad on the classic client because you have to edit a file called key names. I'll go through that in a later video. So it's best to clump perhaps your defensive macros in one area, your aggressive macros in another area. Now, bear in mind, when you go through the spellbook, there's a lot of macros you'll see where, as a newbie, you might think, oh, I don't need that on, I'm not going to use that very often, because it's not aggressive or defensive, like Wall of Stone. You know, there's Wall of Stone you obviously do need on a macro. There's a lot of spells that you need assigned to keys. Paralyzed Build is another one. The general rule is to assign as many spells as possible on your keys, pretty much everything. And the only ones I have that aren't on keys are ones that you really rarely use, like Night Sight. I mean, I think I've got Night Sight on me anyway or something. Well, maybe not. Reveal, no one ever uses that. Res, it's not really an urgent one, can be. I'm very naughty and I've got Poison Field on a macro. Okay, another few vital macros are Previous Weapon, in case you're changing to a Dragon Slayer, and suddenly you want to be defensive again. But a general rule is just stick, if you're not sure, stick it on the macro. It's always a lot faster. Okay, now here's the top tip. To PvP as a mage, you need a good connection, good speed. Obviously, all of your hardware needs to be wired. In other words, you need a wide internet connection. Don't use wireless. Your mouse needs to be wired. Your keyboard needs to be wired. If you're living in the UK, if you Google iPlate from BT, that certainly improves your ping. And here comes the biggest tip for improving your ping. Properties. No, I'm not in the right screen here. If we find, where are we? Client. Right click it. I'm on XP. Normal people are on Windows 7, but you can do a similar thing. And set it to real time. This puts all of the hardware into UO. I mean, the computer will tell you, oh, it's going to die and explode if you do this, but it's fine. It should be fine. Contact legal if your computer explodes, but it should be fine, and you'll find it makes a notable difference in your speed. Obviously, me having both a low ping and quick computer, people often think I'm speed hacking, but I'm really not. Okay, they're the very basic settings and the layout that you want. Hopefully there's been a couple of tips, even for pros there, but it's aimed at people who haven't even started up UO yet. And then in my later videos I'll be giving some in-depth tips on how to do macros, what templates to use, what armor to use, how to set up UO assist macros, and do some complicated macros and some other little tips and tricks. Thank you.